Hi everybody, my name is Nezzy Naps, coming to you today to talk to you about my fibroids journey and my pathway to wellness and happiness. I was diagnosed with a fibroid, a very small fibroid, back in 1999 when I was only 29 years old. And at the time, the fibroid was very, very small. Actually, it was as small as a small bean. And I completely forgot about it after all these years. My doctor explained to me that it was a fibroid and there was nothing to worry about, but she was going to keep an eye on it and to make sure that it's not causing me any problems. So as the years went on, I was not having any problems until like maybe when I got to be about maybe in my mid-30s. And I didn't realize I was having problems at that time. And I was taking birth control pills. I've been taking birth control pills ever since I was 16 years old, and I would stop taking them like on or off throughout my years, but for the most part, I was taking birth control pills from the age of 16 all the way up until 39, and I think I may have taken about 2 or 3 years off in between. So as the fibroid got bigger and bigger, I didn't really realize I was having problems because from my understanding, birth control pills help with fibroids. It makes the bleeding not as bad, and you don't feel as bad with the birth control pills. So I didn't really realize I was having any problems. So those times I was not taking the birth control pills, I would have some, like when I had my cycle, it would be sort of heavy, but it was nothing to be alarmed about. So I didn't really worry about this so-called fibroid. As a matter of fact, I forgot all about it. So life went on. At the time, I was dating this one guy. I remember him laying on my stomach, and when he put his head down on my stomach, I went, oh. I'm like, oh. I was gasping for air. I'm like, what is that? So he said, am I hurting you? And I'm like, no, because at the time I didn't know what I was feeling. Well, really, the fibroid was growing. So fast forward, I noticed that like I put on some blue jeans, I couldn't, button up around. Well, I just thought I was just getting fat. So, little things was there, but it didn't make sense to me until it was actually time to, face the real problem. So years had gone by, and I went to go get my yearly pap smear. I am a woman who believes in getting pap smears. I get them faithfully on time every year. Not that I look forward to it, but actually in the end it saved my life. So I went to go get a pap smear, and this was in 2008. It was like June of 2008. And in the examination, I remember my doctor, she inserted her fingers and she pressed down on my stomach. And I remember almost jumping off the table. I was like, ouch, what is that? She's like, I do feel a knot. It's probably just a cyst on your ovaries or something like that. So I'm thinking, hey, that sounds pretty serious, but the way my doctor was, she was really great. And the way she was, she made everything seem like it was not a big problem. Just get it fixed and move on with your life. That's how she was to me. So I used to be just like, ugh. And she'd be like, girl, come on, let's go. So anyway, I said, well, okay, so what do I need to do to figure out what's going on? So she suggested to have an ultrasound done to see exactly what was going on. So I made my appointment to see what was going on, and I had the ultrasound done, and come to find out that that little fibroid that was the size of a bean back when I was 29 years old had grown from a little bean up to I think she said at the time it was like it was like an orange. And I was like, uh-oh, that is not good. And she was like, oh, it's nothing to worry about. I said, okay, so what do I do now? So she said, you have 3 options. Your 3 options would be wait and see. We'll just sit and watch it for 6 months and wait and see what's going to happen. So I'm thinking it's going to get bigger and it's going to get more aggressive. So she said your second option would be a myomectomy. And I'm thinking, what is a myomectomy? Well, she explained that a myomectomy is a procedure where the doctors will go into the woman's uterus and remove the fibroids so that she can get pregnant and carry a baby, and then after the myomectomy do a hysterectomy. And the reason why she said this is because fibroids usually terminate babies. The babies cannot survive with a fibroid in the same area. The fibroids will grow and overpower them and basically kill the child. So I don't have any children, and she was just trying to give me some options to, well, okay, well, right now you are 38 years old and you don't have any children. This is your time to, have one if you wanted to. So I'm thinking, oh, this is pretty, I don't know, it was very, very mind-blowing. And the third option would be to just have an hysterectomy. And a hysterectomy is when the doctors go inside of a woman's body and remove sometimes the ovaries, the uterus, and the cervix. And I was like petrified. This was just so breathtaking to me. I'm like, I have to face this. Of all these years, I've never had major surgery before. It was just like heart-wrenching. So at the time, I was still with the guy who, he laid on my stomach that one time, and we weren't doing too well in our relationship. So, and I never even really wanted children. I just never had a desire to have children, and I don't know, maybe I'll talk about that one day with you girls, but I don't know, it was very, very difficult to understand that I have to face the fact that you're going to take a body part or body parts out of my body, and I had to make a decision. So I did a lot of research on fibroids, and I did a lot of thinking and talking to other women. And ironically, women do not mind sharing their experience with having fibroids or hysterectomy, myomectomy, or anything of that sort. And as a woman, that's very private, that's very personal, and you just don't talk about that. And you don't tell people about it, and you just keep it to yourself. But yeah, I've had some pretty nice people that, was willing to share with me what was going on in their lives as well. So after doing research and thinking and reevaluating everything, this decision was made for me just not to have a myomectomy and to just have a hysterectomy. So I told the guy that I decided to have a hysterectomy, and he was not happy about it, but at the same time he understood. He was like 46 or 47 years old. His kids was grown, and our relationship was just raggedy. And sure enough, by 2009 we weren't together no way. So anyway, fast forward. So I decided to go on and have the hysterectomy. And right before I was scheduled to have my hysterectomy, I said, well, you know what? Let me go get a second opinion. Maybe there's another choice out there I could have. And I went to another doctor and had a second opinion. And, oh, girls, let me tell you, he did my examination, and I thought I was going to really jump off the table. It was just so uncomfortable how he examined me or whatever. And he said, what is the problem? I said, well, I have fibroids, and I just wanted to get a second opinion. And I believe this fibroid is sitting on my bladder because I was constantly having to use the restroom. Every time I looked around, I was having to use the restroom. It was like, oh boy. But I was not having any difficult problems or anything. I was able to live my regular life, and everything was okay. So let me tell you, he did my examination, and I was like, oh boy. He said, yeah, it's definitely sitting on your bladder. I said, well, can't you do the procedure called the Da Vinci? And he said, yeah, I do the Da Vinci. And that's when they take a robot and do, I think it's called laparoscopic type surgery. And they just go inside your stomach with a robot and make like 4 or 5 incisions or something like that. And they just go in there and just suck out the fibroids or whatever. But come to find out, he told me that he wouldn't do it because he was in the same network as my doctor. And, if they're in the same group or same network or friendships, they're not going to cross out the fellow doctor to do anything. So And the reason why I was looking into the Da Vinci is because it's less invasive, which means the surgery is not as hard, and it is recovery time is much better versus my doctor didn't know how to, well, they didn't have the money to do the Da Vinci type procedure at that time. So she had to do the old school way, which was the bikini cut. And that downtime would have been like 6 weeks or so. And so I was looking forward towards the Da Vinci because that's only like 2 or 3 weeks, and maybe at the most 5 or 6 weeks I'm pretty much all together. But it didn't work out like that. So anyway, make a long story short, fast forward, I decided to go on with the hysterectomy, and depression set in. All these things start setting into my mind. I'm like, oh my God, do I really have to go through this? So after he did that examination, I'm telling you, it seemed like he aggravated the fibroid. It was just so angry. It was just so uncomfortable. It just seemed like it just started growing, and it was just like a monster. And sure enough, by the time I did have my surgery, it had grown from an orange to a size of a grapefruit. And I was like, woo, that thing, it had grown so big. Now, I don't know if it did that because he was messing with it, but I don't know. It just grew. So I decided to just go on with the surgery, and I was so uncomfortable to where my surgery was really supposed to be in June of 2009, but I had fasted. I told them to put it up. I said, listen, I need you guys to go in there and get it because I'm so uncomfortable. So I had my surgery May 2009. And, recovery time was long, just like I knew it was, but I had a great support team. I had help. I had everybody to make sure that I was okay. And my stepmom told me, she said, you know what, they tell you that you have to go back to work in 6 weeks and you'll be healed up. She said, take 8 weeks, take as long as you can because you're going to need it. And sure enough, she was right. I needed more than 6 weeks off. So I had called my doctor and asked her, could I have another week or 2 off? And it's like pulling teeth or something. It's like doctors want to just go in there and just take whatever is out and just send you back to work. And I'm like, I can't go back to work like this. I knew I couldn't. And but anyway, fast forward, let's talk about today. So everything's going great with me. I don't have any pain or anything, but I did have some what you call phantom type symptoms, which means my body didn't realize that my organs was gone. And so it's still today. Every once in a while I may feel my back hurting, I bloat. It's like I still have a period, but there is no period, if you know what I mean. So, but my doctor ended up taking just my uterus, and she took my cervix too. And I was asking, why do you want to take the cervix? She said, well, why do you want to keep it? You have precancerous cells diagnosed on there before, so this is an assurance to make sure you don't have any more cancer. I said, well, yeah, that makes sense. So they took that. And yeah, today I'm living fine and well. It took me about 2 or 3 years to not feel that the symptoms of like cramping and stuff, but I still have bloating and stuff like that. So I don't have any regrets of my decision. I feel good about it. As a matter of fact, the next year I was playing kickball. And I was rough and tough like I usually am, and I feel good about that. Oh, and to answer you guys' question, because I know this one girl I know, a lot of women don't want to get a hysterectomy because they just, just like, it's just normal that we don't want to give up our body parts. But some women don't want to get a hysterectomy because they feel like the juice box won't get juicy anymore. And in my case, that's not true because I still have my ovaries. And a lot of times when the doctors take your ovaries, then yeah, sometimes women have dryness, but I don't have that problem or anything. So I'm okay. I'm happy, and I'm glad I made it through that point in my life, and I don't have any regrets. So I just want to share that with you guys. I know you all thinking, why would you want to share something so personal and private like that? And the reason why I'm sharing this because, it's good to get yourself taken care of. Go get your pap smears. Make sure you get your body checked and love your body. And I'm not suggesting to anybody to go get a hysterectomy. Nope. I suggest that you find your way, find your path to wellness and happiness, because I did. You know, there are things out there that you can do to make yourself feel better. Some people can't get surgery because of fear, or some people may not do it because of insurance. But whatever your reason is, make sure you try to find a way to get to happiness and wellness. It's a wonderful thing. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys listening to my story. And if you have anything you want to say, you can go on and say it, and inbox me if you have any personal questions. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.